I call this meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. We will go to section 2, swearing in. There is none. We will go to section 3, roll call.
When I call your name, please say present. Senator Luna,
Present.
Senator Parker,
Present.
Senator Fouquet,
Present.
Senator Fan,
Present.
Senator Beam,
Present.
Senator Tiwana,
Present.
Senator Souls,
Present.
Senator Lay, Senator Martinez,
Present.
Senator Peng,
Present.
Senator Argumedo,
Present.
Senator Hinojosa,
Present.
Senator Thibodeau,
Present.
Senator Mallard,
Present.
Senator Owens,
Present.
Senator Brown,
Present.
Senator Casirosafar,
Present.
Senator Miller,
Present.
Senator Hansen,
Present.
Senator Timms,
Present.
Senator Beatty,
Present.
Senator Arteaga, Senator Boyd,
Present.
Senator Haynes,
Present.
Senator Mungaravani, Senator Marston, Senator Lewis,
Present.
Senator Lay,
Present.
I have 24 senators present, simple majority of 12 and 2/3 majority of 16.
Thank you. We'll now go into section 4, messages from the student body president. The clerk may read.
Upon recommendation by the Senate and by my authority, the following have been signed and filed as law. SB-68-115, Amendments to the Menstrual Product Advisory Board. SB-68-117, Amendments to the Standing Committees of the Senate. SB-68-118, Appointing Midterm Senators to serve on the Standing Committees of the Student Senate. SB-68-120, an act to rename the Shocker Support Locker. Pursuant to authority vested in me as President of the Association by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, I hereby direct and order the following. These orders shall be filed with the Association's office, added to the record, and it shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the President of the Association or following other procedures. These orders shall become executive law and special ordered to remain beyond the session.
Thank you. We'll now go to message to Vice President Nguyen.
I will be reporting out from messages from the Finance Commission. So the Commission has reviewed a series of individual and organizational funding requests submitted by students and student organizations. Allocations were determined in accordance with SGA funding policies and eligibility requirements. For individual funding, the Commission reviewed 3 applications. The Commission approved funding for Afrotech for $1,500, Informs for $1,299, and the Michigan Drone Project for $595.36. These recommendations support students participating in professional development opportunities that enhance academic and career growth through conferences, research, and innovation. For organizational funding, the Commission reviewed 2 applications. The Commission approved funding for Shocker Racing for $3,000 and the National Panhellenic Council for $1,200. These allocations aim to strengthen student engagement, organizational development, and representation within the campus community. The Commission will continue providing weekly updates on budget expenditures from the individual and organizational funding accounts. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Vice President Nguyen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into section 5, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, any senator may seek recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice, not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Argumedo.
Good evening, everyone. As some of you may know, I work for Student Health Services, and I'm also the Health Profession Senator. So I just wanted you guys to know that the flu vaccines are now open to everybody with the student body, faculty and staff included. We have an event where Student Health Services will be out in the community tomorrow. They'll be at the Harvest Room downstairs on RSC room 142 from 11 to 1. It's $25 plus an administration fee, but if you have insurance, we can file with them as well. And yeah, let's stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Argumedo? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Owens.
Hello. As some of you, hopefully all of you now after this know, I'm the President and Accessibility Coordinator of DREAM, which is Disability Rights, Education, Activism, and Mentorship. We have an October event, October 28th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. here in the RSC. It's going to be a Ghouls Night In, which is just a fun, spooky movie night for all of us to have candy, snacks, food, those kinds of things, and just spend some good quality time together while doing an activity. We'll be making lava lamps, which is very cool. Pending licensure for the movie, we'll see, but it's going to be on theme to the general Halloween-ish theme. But yeah, I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Owens? Senator Lewis?
Sorry, what night did you say that is again?
Yeah, October 28th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at RSC 264.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will now go into Section 6, Public Forum. Public Forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for the Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that, we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that, although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in public forum at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will now go into Section 7, Introductions and Reports. We will go to 7.1, Report from the Executive Branch.
Okay, hello again. Starting with Student Body President Wayne, she met with Provost Lounsbury and Chief of Staff Gearhart and is beginning conversations about expanding late-night dining options for students. Student Body Vice President Nguyen is working on new committee appointments. She has an upcoming FLC meeting October 30th, the Freshman Leadership Council, and the Swipe Out Hunger meeting on October 27th. Student Body Treasurer Bum heard from 2 organizations last week and reports that individual funding is nearly depleted. I, Chief of Staff Fritz, have been continuing to provide support to members of Cabinet. Director Ahrens is finalizing community garden legislation and continues sharing updates on Senate items to the rest of Cabinet. Director Jean is managing graphics for upcoming events and Senate vacancies. She's preparing the 7th newsletter edition and is continuing headshot sessions for new members while coordinating with Kaylee on website updates. Director Garcia Alvarez has his Boba and Ballots event tomorrow and then his Cider and Connections event coming up. Director Raju rescheduled her Social Safety Week to November 10th through 13th. So November 10th from 11 to 1 p.m., she has Sip Safely Alcohol Awareness. Tuesday, November 11th, 11 to 1, Treat Yourself, Get Vaccinated, so like a flu vaccine clinic thing. Wednesday, November 12th from 1 to 3, a Sexual Health and Wellness Talk. Thursday, November 13th from 11 to 1, it's called Fresh Start Substance Use Awareness. Director Khan completed the RSO Summit, is planning for an event training for November 17th, and met with RSO presidents and continues to do outreach. Director Safdar is finalizing Interfest logistics and outreach to international RSOs while collaborating with Director Guthrie and the Shocker Career Accelerator for career development initiatives. Director Murphy is finalizing his tailgate preparations and working out things with the dining services. Director Olade announced that the SGA market will now transition into more of a community garden showcase. She said that you can go and paint a little pot and plant your own plant, and confirmed that there's going to be a teaching kitchen for November 5th. Director Guthrie is finalizing a speaker list, event structure, and dates for his upcoming professional development workshop. And then Undergraduate Student Advocate Island is managing 8 active cases across academics, harassment, parking, and financial issues while preparing for the next Pride Task Force meeting on October 30th. And I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Chief of Staff Fritz? Seeing Senator Lee, do you have something?
So how much funds do we have left for the executive branch?
Can you clarify what specific fund you're looking towards? Are you looking towards entire executive, like president's budget, or other funding processes?
Sure, we'll go with the executive president's budget.
Advisor Fonseca?
Unfortunately, we don't have that number because we're getting ready to come up toward the end of the month when final reports are put in. But we can make sure that Treasurer Bum presents that when those final reports are done. You'll actually be receiving your Q1 report in the November meeting with all the funding that's been spent up to this point. So I would probably recommend that we wait until that report to get a highlight of all budgets at that point.
Are there any more questions for Chief of Staff Fritz? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We will now go into 7.2, report from the Speaker of the Senate. So good evening, everyone. I hope your week is going well. I have a few brief updates for you all tonight. For updates regarding the SJ teams, the Senate Legislation Tracker has been added to the Legislative Branch or the Student Senate Teams channel. This Excel sheet is meant to be a resource for you all to see what other senators are working on, what stage a piece of legislation is at, and a place where senators can collaborate on different initiatives. Senate leadership will be regularly maintaining the legislation tracker each week, with items being worked on within each committee, and I will update the tracker when official legislation is sent to me as well. Additionally, the headshots for all senators are located in the SGA General Teams channel under the 68th Sessions Photos folder. For those that missed the original photo shoot or wish to do a retake, we will be taking headshots during next week's Committee of the Whole meeting. Today, President Wong and I attended the University's Strategic Planning Committee, where the committee discussed the university's values, metrics from a survey that was conducted, and strategic plans to achieve these goals as an institution. On Thursday, Director Khan, Director Safdar, and I, in addition to Director Murphy, were at the RSO Summit where I gave a presentation about SGA, and I also held a RSO Issues and Concerns listening session after that presentation. For our newer senators, I'm still in the process of scheduling one-on-one meetings with you all. If you have not received an email yet, don't panic. I am gradually going down the list and scheduling meetings to avoid overlapping scheduled meetings. So if you haven't received any emails yet, you should probably get one within the next 3 or 4 days. Within the next few weeks, I am making a couple of events mandatory for senators to attend. The first mandatory event is Signer and Connections on October 29th, which is next Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Radican Student Center. The main purpose and goal of this event is to give students a casual, welcoming space to connect with their SGA senators while enjoying seasonal treats like cider and donuts. The focus is on relationship building and increasing visibility for SGA in a relaxed, approachable environment. At this event, I want senators to welcome students as they arrive, meet students and find out what they're interested or involved in, share about their SGA experience, and talk about the resources that our SGA has. For our newer senators, you can pair up with a more experienced senator. And additionally, at the event, we will need assistance in overseeing the check-in table, overviewing the cider and donuts table, and talking to students. For attire, I recommend that you either wear your SJ shirts if you have some, WCU attire or business casual attire, and if you have an SJ name tag, I would highly encourage you to wear it as well. The sign-up sheet for this event is in the SJA Senate GroupMe in the message that I pinned earlier today. I will send out a calendar invite for this event as well, but if you cannot attend, I ask that you fill out an excuse form on Strucker Sync. If you have classes, labs, or other events that overlap with this event, submit it on Strucker Sync and I will review those items as well. If you have classes, I am by no means asking you to skip class. Go to class, go to labs, whatever you may have. I will excuse absences for classes and labs for this event. The second mandatory event is the SJ Tailgate event on November 4th, which is located in Shocker Hall from 4:15 to 6:15 p.m. At that event, there'll be games, activities, and food as well. Senators are required to go to the tailgate, and going to the game afterwards is highly encouraged if you can make it. At Coke Arena, shirts will be provided for students to wear, but if you cannot attend, I ask that you fill out an excuse form on Shocker Sync. And if you have classes, labs, as in the same case for the other mandatory event, please submit a Shocker Sync form. I will review those and excuse you if you have classes or other overlapping conflicts as well. And I will also send out calendar invites and send out an email with more details for these events as well. For today's Senate agenda, we have a second read of the association resolution that encourages the university to stand with TRIO programs, and also a second read of bylaw amendments to the freshman senator definition. Additionally, we will have a first read of a funding bill for the CAC theater renovation and a pro temp appointment for the Government Oversight Committee. Additionally, for the consent agenda, we have several meeting minutes up for approval tonight as well, but that is my report for tonight. As always, if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me at my email at sj.speaker@wichita.edu or reach out to me via GroupMe as well. Thank you all, and I will stand for questions if anyone has any. I will go to Senator Owens.
Hi. I know, of course, we're making every effort to make sure senators are included in outside events and things like that, but I know this past session we, of course, made it so that students have X amount of absences, excused and non-excused, before they begin to breach a certain policy that ensures that we then remove that person from the Senate chambers. So what are those kinds of conversations you're having as you begin to make more and more events required that intercede with class time and make it so that students are forced to submit an excuse form and kind of utilize something when they could be using it for, if they're ill or if they can't make it to a Senate meeting or things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a wonderful question in regards to events. You have classes during that time or conflicting events. When you submit the excuse form, I'm not counting that excuse absence towards your total for the other meetings. That way it doesn't clog up the excuse total overall for our meetings. If you don't communicate, that would be an unexcused absence and it will count against the total. So as long as you communicate, submit a Shocker Sync form, I'm more than happy to accommodate you if you have overlapping conflicts or class as well. So if that answers your question. Okay, perfect. Are there any further questions? Senator Lewis?
Do we need an excuse form if we can only attend some of the event?
That is also an amazing question. So I ask that you fill out an excuse form if you can't make it to 30 minutes worth of the event. So you don't if you can go for at least 30 minutes, maybe even more, I think that would be great. But if you can't go any further than 30 minutes, you don't have to submit an excuse form as long as you show up and sign in. Are there any further questions? Senator Lee?
Would the details of these mandatory events be posted somewhere?
Yes, so I will send out a calendar invite for all of these mandatory events. So on the calendar invite, there'll be the location, in addition to expected attire I expect you all to wear, things you need to keep in mind, specific topics that you should be prepared to talk about as well. So all those details will be on the calendar invite. Additionally, I will send out an email after the Senate meeting with more details regarding this event. Are there any further questions that I can help answer? Okay, seeing none, we will now go to 7.3, report from the Senate chairpersons, and go to Academic Affairs Chairperson Kasir Safar.
Good evening, everyone. The Academic Affairs Committee is actively working on several possible resolutions aimed at improving academic policies and increasing the overall student experience at Wichita State University. In addition, our committee has been discussing current campus concerns, especially around advising, accessibility of academic resources, and how information is transferred to students. As we move forward, we will keep gathering feedbacks from students to identify the most important academic issues and turn those into practical solutions that support student success. Thank you. I now stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Kasir Safar, Senator Owens?
Hi, it's super exciting, all the things that you're talking about in academic affairs. I know we're reaching a little bit closer to the end of the session, and I know there's a goal to kind of get and push quite a bit pieces of legislation per committee. So could you kind of update the body a little bit more on kind of where you are in terms of efforts that are directly sponsoring pieces of legislation or those kinds of things as we kind of wait for those kind of pieces?
Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, right now we're working on adding the A+ sign to the grading system. Right now, our committee is gathering information onto how we can gather up the resolution, and also we are preparing a survey to send out to students and get their ideas before we move forward. But basically, the main thing that we're working on so far is just the A+ sign. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Are there any further questions for Chairperson Kasir Safar? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Diversity, Empowerment, Inclusion, Chairperson Peng.
Hi everyone. For agency reports, ASE has All Around Asia this week, where they teach students about different regions of Asia. And the last 2 remaining days is tomorrow and Friday in the RSC. Halo is currently working on their plans for Halloween, so I'm excited to see what they have planned. BSU is having Taco Night Sunday dinner this Sunday at 6 p.m. and a talent show this upcoming Monday at 6 p.m. ISU is having their Futsal World Cup next Saturday all day starting at 10 a.m. and Spectrum is currently having their collaboration with OSTEM on queer history till 8 p.m. For committee updates, we had Director Safdar come to committee tonight to introduce himself, and we talked about some new initiatives, ways we can help international students on campus. So hopefully we see some new legislation on the Senate floor pretty soon, but I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Peng? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Government Oversight Chairperson Tawana.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep this short. Regarding government oversight, I was able to conduct the interview and finalize the selection for pro temp as Senator Orton as pro temp. You'll guys see the bill as well. So upon approval of the Senate, the appointment will be made official. Other than that, I'm in process of setting up one-on-one with the new senators in the committee we got. And other than that, government oversight is working on 2 new legislations. One is for the Tier 3 funding. Basically, if Tier 3 organizations are not utilizing their budget completely in an academic cycle, is there a way to have them demoted to a Tier 2 cycle for the next appropriations funding? Other than that, the second legislation which we're working on is figuring out what to either have a half day or a complete holiday or having classes and work remote on election days in the upcoming cycles in the future. So we are still in the initial stages of that. So yeah, you guys will be hearing from us on that. And if you guys have any questions, I'll stand in for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Student Services Chairperson Hansen.
Hi, everyone. Since our last meeting, I've had the chance to continue meeting with my committee members. Additionally, I've met with the First Generation Student Organization president about potential events and some inquiries. And I will also be having a meeting with the new Graduate Student Council president this Friday. Tonight we will be seeing Senator Miller's TRIO legislation for its second read, and I highly encourage everyone to vote in affirmation. Senator Argumedo has begun discussions regarding a HIPAA-compliant transportation for specialty medical appointments for students on campus, including talks with Heather Strafford about referral data and potential avenues. Senator Owens is currently going through the International Review Board process for her independent research project regarding grief accommodations in hopes of creating a policy proposal in the spring using this data. She has also had discussions with Heather Strafford concerning the financial barriers for students face while trying to receive medical care. As a committee, we have had several discussions regarding parking services, dining services, and housing. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Hansen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into 7.4, report from the central office.
No report tonight.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will move into section 8, the consent agenda.
With a motion. Sorry, me.
Can you say that one more time?
With a motion.
Say that one more time.
With a motion. I'm rising to
Oh,
do a
okay.
motion.
Please state your motion.
Yeah, motion to move act on request to approve SB-68-122 appointment Senator Auden to serve as pro temp to the consent agenda.
Is there a second for this motion? Seeing a second from Senator Haynes, we will now move into the voting period on this item. The clerk may conduct a roll call vote.
When I state your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna,
Yes.
Senator Parker,
Yes.
Senator Fouquet. Yes, no, or abstain.
Sorry, yes.
Senator Fan,
Yes.
Senator Otten, not here. Senator Beam,
Yes.
Senator Tijuana,
Yes.
Senator Souls,
Yes.
Senator Lay,
Yes.
Senator Martinez,
Yes.
Senator Peng,
Yes.
Senator Argumedo,
Yes.
Senator Hinojosa,
Yes.
Senator Thibodeau,
Yes.
Senator Mallard,
Yes.
Senator Owens,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yep.
Senator Casirosafar,
Yes.
Senator Miller,
Yes.
Senator Hansen,
Yes.
Senator Beatty,
Yes.
Senator Arteaga,
Yes.
Senator Boyd,
Yes.
Senator Haynes,
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani,
Yes.
Senator Hatch, Senator Lewis,
Yes.
Yep. Did I forget anyone? Senator Timms,
Yes.
I have 26 total votes of yes.
Okay, so with Senator Archimedes, do you have something?
Just kind of want to explain to the new senators just what happened and how we pushed this to the head of the agenda.
Can you state it one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Kind of how you want to explain to the new senators of how we kind of move this to the head of the agenda.
Yes. So before we go into approval of the whole consent agenda, so with this, the motion that Senator Owens made that got approved, SB-68-122, appointing Senator Otto to serve as pro temp of the Government Oversight Committee, has been moved to the consent agenda. So that means when I say, are there any objections to the consent agenda, that is included within that approval process as well. So if you object to the consent agenda, you would also, we would go into debate on each item that we would have to approve moving forward from there. But for the consent agenda, for approval, we would be approving the August 20th, 2025 Senate meeting minutes, in addition to the September 3rd and September 17th meeting minutes. I am not including the September 24th and October 1st meeting minutes, as I did not upload those to the teams. So to be clear, when I say, are there any objections to the consent agenda, it will be for the August 20th, September 3rd, September 17th, plus SB-68-122. Are there any questions about that process and what's in the consent agenda? Yes, Senator Fouquet.
So really, the motion was just moved up to be more efficient?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay, thanks. I was just unclear.
Are there any further questions? Okay, so with that, we will move into Section 8, approval of the consent agenda. Are there any objections to the consent agenda as such? Seeing no objections, the consent agenda is adopted as such. We will now move into Section 9, pending business. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve AR-68-002, an association resolution to encourage the university to stand with the TRIO programs.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Hello, everybody. So before I begin today, there were a couple of people who wanted to speak in affirmation of this bill during public forum, but they were unable to make it in person tonight. So they sent me their written statement, which I will read now. The first one is from Director Larry Ramos. Greetings, my name is Larry Ramos. I currently have the distinct honor of serving as the Executive Director of TRIO Talent Search and TRIO Talent Search South programs housed at Wichita State University. Combined, the programs serve 1,665 middle and high school students in the Wichita public school system. The programs provide academic support services to low-income and potential first-generation college students. Services include tutoring, academic advising, pre-college planning, and preparation, ACT, SAT test preparation activities, campus visits, financial aid and scholarship information, support with completing applications to post-secondary institutions, and hosting a robust summer enrichment program for middle school students. In my 40-year career at WSU, I witnessed firsthand the success of the TRIO programs, first as a program counselor for student support services, then as the director of the McNair Scholars Program until my current position. Students have gone on to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists, researchers, authors, business administrators, healthcare professionals, teachers, and political leaders. The impact of what TRIO programs do extends far beyond the campus community. The benefactors are not only making an impact in the state of Kansas, but nationally as well. The TRIO programs are changing the trajectory of students' lives, as well as the lives of future generations. They are giving people a hand up instead of a handout. Wichita State University is blessed to have the largest number of TRIO programs on one campus in the nation. Programs designed for pre-college students, WSU students, adults, veterans, and people with disabilities exist at WSU and are making a significant contribution to the entire community at large. I fully support this resolution due to the important work that the programs perform on behalf of the university. The programs support the mission, core values, and university priorities that are outlined in the university's strategic plan. The programs support the universities by providing services that increase student success and persistence while creating unique opportunities for partnership building and collaboration. On a personal level, I am a product of the TRIO programs, and if it had not been for the support I received as a first-generation student, I certainly would not be in the position that I am in today. Due to the support I received, I have dedicated my entire career to giving back what I gained. Now, my wife finished her degree as a returning adult student, and my 2 sons completed their undergraduate degrees, which they will pass on to my grandchildren. The TRIO programs opened my eyes to the enormous possibilities and potential of what a college degree can do for one individual and his entire family. Thank you for listening, and I strongly encourage this body to pass this well-crafted resolution. Again, that was Director Larry Ramos. The second written statement I have is from Brooke Allen. My name is Brooke Allen. I am the director of TRIO Disability Support Services. We support students with disabilities who may also be first-generation and/or limited income students. Through personalized services, resources, and academic support, empowering them to persist and graduate from WSU. We directly impact student persistence and graduation rates at WSU, specifically for the 115 students we serve each academic year. Over the past 5 years, the average persistence rate of students served by DSS was 78%. DSS advisors meet with students monthly to nurture a positive relationship and help them through a wide variety of issues that may impede their success and ability to pursue a bachelor's degree. I support this resolution because I see the need for stronger institutional support for TRIO DSS and the other TRIO programs at WSU. One example of a way I think WSU could better support the TRIO programs and other TRIO programs is by providing information about the TRIO programs that are available to undergraduate students, starting at the application and orientation stages of the student's journey, which I will mention is in the resolution. Over the past 3 years, I have worked for TRIO DSS. I've personally seen many of our students reach graduation because they had the support of our program. Below is a student profile of just one of our graduates. Christopher began attending Wichita State University in the fall of 2018. After graduating from high school in Prairieville Village, Kansas, he joined TRIO Disability Support Services during his first semester after hearing about DSS from his instructors. While participating in DSS, Christopher utilized tutoring services to help him pass general education courses required for his degree. He met with his DSS advisor regularly, often meeting with them weekly to discuss issues he was facing. He appreciates that his DSS advisor gave him resources and support to learn how to communicate with instructors. They also encouraged him to get extra help when he needed it. Christopher says his most rewarding experience with the DSS program was learning how to optimize his abilities and strengthen his confidence. The skills he gained by participating in DSS also helped him improve his emotional honesty with others. Christopher stated that the toughest decision he had to make since attending college was continuing during the COVID pandemic. It certainly wasn't easy for him, but he is glad he did. The disruption caused by the pandemic slowed his progression more than he had anticipated, but he values the experiences he gained throughout the years. Christopher graduated from WSU in the summer of 2024 with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and a minor in History. So I want to thank you all for taking a moment to listen to the thoughts of 2 TRIO programs directors who are in support of this bill. I'll keep my point brief because I've already gone over it in this chamber, but what this resolution is doing is it's essentially reminding the faculty of our university, our own student government, as well, to advocate for the TRIO programs, because the TRIO programs are essential to students on campus, namely first-generation low-income students. They support these students, increase persistence, help them get into college. They provide all sorts of services, and it's important to remember that standing with the TRIO programs is standing with low-income first-generation students. I thank you for listening, and I now stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Senator Miller? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into We will now go into the debate period on this item. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Owens.
I just want to take a moment to really extend Senator Miller his flowers for this resolution and also his wherewithal to really directly connect with each of the directors of the TRIO programs and give us that really heartfelt, narratives from each of the directors, because I think that is exactly what we're meant to do here in this body, is to do our research, is to talk to the people directly affected and really understand and bring that information to this body to inform our legislation, our policy proposals and solutions. I think this is a fantastic bill. Like I said, I won't talk too much about it because you have all heard my thoughts and feelings about this ad nauseum. So just wanted to take a second to really give Senator Miller his flowers. It's his, first year here, and he is just doing such a fabulous job. And this is a really foundational piece of legislation that I believe will give us, kind of foundational layer for future legislations and resolutions that we look to in the future, especially as it comes to talking and outreach and, making sure we have all the information possible before we come forward to propose a certain resolution. So.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate? Senator Mallard.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is fantastic, and I am very excited to see where we go from here, as well as seeing if we even have any, extended talks with faculty senate about this and faculty committees to ensure that we're reaching out to students, even with the Office of Admissions, to make sure that they are properly telling students about what opportunities we have. Because, and then I motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. I'll also like to give a congratulations to Senator Miller, as this is his first year in Senate and his first piece of legislation that he wrote and just passed. So I want to give him another piece of recognition for all the hard work that he has done for this resolution as well. But with that, we'll move into 9.2. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-119, an act to amend the freshman senator eligibility clause.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Hi again, everyone. As we already went through, we're just elaborating upon the definition of freshmen for the freshman senators in this resolution regarding some of the concerns raised in last week's Senate meeting. I moved to make change from Article 2, Section 5E to read as, once the screen load, I'll go for.
And to clarify, we're still in the presentation period.
Yeah.
So if we have amendments that have to be during the debate period.
Oh, okay.
But you can continue on your presentation.
So yeah, as I explained last time around, the freshman term needs a bit of clarification because some high schoolers can have extra credit hours when coming in the freshman year. So just to give them that edge to be eligible for the freshman senate, we are moving this forward with this bill. So I'll stand for any questions. If anyone has questions, then I'll motion for the amendment.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Senator Brown.
Sure. So I'm on government oversight with you. Could you talk a little bit about what the amendment does after the concerns raised last week?
Yeah, so the initial draft which we presented last time was first read as first year of undergrad education at Wichita State. So it can mean if you're transferring from, let's say, K-State to KU or out-of-state school and you're coming in your final year as a final year student, you could still be eligible based on this wording which we used. So that's why, just to get that confusion, we've come up with the new wording, so which you'll guys see once I move for the motion. So just to clarify that confusion. Seeing a person transferring in the senior year, or maybe someone comes in Wichita State for their PhD program, that based on these wording, they can still be considered freshmen, to just avoid the clarification we made, the amendment to it.
Are there any more questions for Chairperson Tawana? Okay, seeing none, we will go into the debate period for this item. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Chairperson Tawana.
Yeah. I motion for line 39 till 43 to read as 2 seats shall be reserved for association members who are classified as first time in college entering first year of undergrad education at Wichita State, regardless to prior transfer or dual enrollment credits. Students serving in this seat shall be known as freshman senator.
Thank you. Is there a second for this motion? Seeing a second from Senator Argumento, we will now go into the debate period on this amendment, these changes. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time on the amendment? Senator Brown.
I think there might have been a little confusion on the amendment. It is not supposed to say Wichita State University. In order to solve that issue of
Well, let me hold off. So right now, if you don't agree with it, you can say it in the debate period, but this is the motion that was seconded, so we will debate on what we have up here right now on the screen for the motion. But does anyone else wish to speak in debate at this time? Chairperson Tawana.
Just to explain, like I know we discussed on removing Wichita State, but with this wording, first time in college, so if it's your first time and you're in Wichita State, so I think that won't have any clarification. So that's why we moved with this one, if that makes sense.
Are there any other senators who wish to speak on debate for this item, for the amendments? Senator Parker?
Okay, I think the wording, regardless of prior transfer, is what's kind of confusing me, because it makes it seem like any transfer students from another student, like if they were a freshman at another college and they transferred in, would they still be considered eligible for this position?
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Advisor Fonseca?
I think to add some clarification, this seat is designed originally for first-year students. So even if you are a transfer student, you would not be classified. Let's say you were still in your freshman year, you would not be classified for this seat because you've already started college at another institution. This is primarily designed for, let's say, hypothetically, AJ Haynes came to Wichita State for the first time, but came to Wichita State with 10 credit hours of college credit, but this is its first time in college. The university would classify AJ Haynes as a first time in college student, and he'd be eligible for this seat. However, if AJ Haynes came to college to Wichita State but transferred from Emporia State University, he would no longer be classified as a first time in college student. Therefore, he would not be eligible for this seat at that point. Even if AJ Haynes, without the change to any language, if AJ Haynes came to college with 31 credit hours of dual enrollment or anything else, he would be ineligible to hold this seat with the old language. The new language would allow him to hold it if he came to Wichita State for the first time, not transferring from another institution. So this seat is not designed for transfer students. It's not designed for any of that. It's designed primarily for students who came to the university for the first time as a first-year student and meets both of those qualifications. I think what the committee was trying to do, because in the past we have prevented students from holding this seat if they came to college with 30 or more credit hours, even though they're still classified as a freshman, because they would no longer be classified as a freshman with the old language. We have prevented people from holding that seat before.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate? Senator Mallard?
Yeah, I'll be speaking in affirmation. I understand a lot of the confusion. Like, for example, from my high school, I know some people who got 70 credit hours just from being able to get all those credits, and that would not make them a freshman. But based off of this, it's saying first time in college. would mean that basically if they were in a different college and they came over with all those credits, they won't have it. So this is stating as their first time here. And as Gabe said, so I do think that this is good, and I do think that we should approve this.
Thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Fouquet?
I guess the only issue we had, Senator Sauls, myself, and Senator Brown are in the government oversight realm, and this just kind of goes, I guess, directly against what we just spent the last hour talking about. So we changed the wording of that sentence specifically to make it, pretty much just point blank and clear. And I guess I just don't, know if that wasn't relayed through or what. But that was kind of our hang up on it, really.
Okay. Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis?
I wonder, I wonder about the situation where someone had like half a semester at another college and came over here and actually, never mind.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak in debate on this amendment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll now go into the voting period on adopting the amendments into the legislation. The clerk may conduct a roll call vote.
Once I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna?
Abstain.
Sorry?
Abstain.
Senator Parker?
Yes.
Senator Fouquet?
No.
Senator Fan?
Yes.
Senator Otten? Senator Beam?
No.
Senator Tijuana?
Yes.
Senator Souls?
No.
Senator Lay?
Abstain.
Senator Martinez?
Yes.
Senator Peng?
Abstain.
Senator Argumedo?
Yes.
Senator Hinojosa?
Abstain.
Senator Thibodeau?
Yes.
Senator Mallard?
Yes.
Senator Owens?
Abstain.
Senator Brown?
No.
Senator Casirosafar?
Abstain.
Senator Miller?
Abstain.
Senator Hansen?
No.
Senator Timms?
No.
Senator Beatty?
No.
Senator Arteaga?
Yes.
Senator Boyd?
Yes.
Senator Haynes?
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani?
Pass.
Abstain? Oh, pass. Senator Lewis?
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani?
Yes.
Okay, with 12 in favor, 7 against, and 7 abstentions, the motion fails as 13 is simple majority. We will now go back into the debate period on the original legislation itself with no amendments. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time during the debate period? Senator Sauls,
Motion to make an amendment.
what is your amendment?
For it to read, 2 seats shall be reserved for association members entering their first year of undergraduate education, regardless of transfer credits earned during secondary education. Students serving in this seat shall be known as freshman senators.
Advisor Fonseca, do you get that? Can you pull the screen up real quick and then...
2 seats shall be reserved for association members entering their first year of undergraduate education, regardless of transfer credits earned during secondary education. Students serving in the seat shall be known as freshman senator. Once more. Two seats shall be reserved for association members entering their first year of undergraduate education, regardless of transfer credits earned during secondary education. Once more? Okay.
Is there a second for this motion? Seeing a second from Senator Mallard, would you like to speak on your motion?
Do I have to?
You do not.
No.
Are there any other individuals who wish to speak on debate on these proposed amendments at the time? Senator Mallard?
Yeah, I think this clears up a few of the just questions that students had in regards to transfer from possibly like a college or a community college or whatever, including the secondary education would ensure that students who are getting all these credits through high school only are able to come in and yeah, that's it. I am speaking in affirmation.
Are there any other senators who wish to speak during this time? Senator Brown?
Sure. So this is, I'm speaking affirmation. I think this does exactly what it's supposed to do and clears up some confusion in the wording. And I think this is what a majority of government oversight recommends.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Owens?
I have a point of information or inquiry, I guess.
Go ahead.
To Dr. Fonseca, if that's appropriate.
You may do so.
Okay. So Gabe, could you tell me in this kind of interpretation here, first year students who are entering regardless of transfer credits, my brain just short-circuited and I just remembered exactly the answer to my question, so never mind. Thank you.
Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Okay. We'll go to Advisor Fonseca.
I guess my question I'm trying to clarify, and this might be for Senator Saul since you made the motion, can you articulate what it is, regardless of the policy language here, what it is we are trying to achieve? Because I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve if this language is going to do that. Because as the person who has to apply it to determine who can hold office, I'm not sure I understand what it is we're trying to do. So could you articulate what it is this proposal, if you were to not put it in policy language at all, what it is that you're trying to achieve with this language?
Yes,
Senator Saul, you can go ahead.
My bad. Anyways, so this is trying to, this is for students exiting secondary education. In secondary education, aka high school, students earn college credits, and we're just trying to make sure that these students have a position as a freshman senator, regardless of however many credits they earned during high school, whether that is dual enrollment or taking college courses. Does that answer your question?
Advisor Fonseca?
Yes. Let me throw a caveat. If the student transferred 30 credit hours, they would no longer be considered a freshman at the university. So we would not let them hold this seat, and that's okay with you, correct? Like, but they're the first time coming to a university, but they came in with 31 credit hours. We, at the university, would no longer classify them as a freshman, and that's okay, correct?
Senator Sauls?
No, I believe that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. If someone comes in with 31 credit hours, even though it's their first year in college, we would consider them, they would have a freshman senator position, or they could.
Advisor Fonseca.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, I know this doesn't mean we want to put this on the agenda again. I would recommend that we push this back to the committee because I don't think this language is going to apply to fit that, and I don't necessarily want to keep spending the time in this space because even if I were to apply this language, I would still not allow a student coming to campus with 31 credit hours because they could have also been at a community college or a technical college, still as a high school student coming in, and would already have credit hours at that point, that they would probably still transfer in. And or if that's the case, we're trying to say, I'm still going to recommend we utilize first time in college language and not first year of undergraduate education, because those two things are not the same thing, which I know sounds silly. Believe me, I understand that. I work in higher ed and it still sounds silly, but first time in college is the classification of what we establish as a student who comes to the university for the first time, because that's how they're coded. And we pull classification, or we pull the eligibility rate based off of how we code students. So I would still highly recommend changing first year of undergraduate education to first time in college, because it does mean two different things. I know what you're thinking in your head, believe me, I know.
Okay, I'm going to recess until 8:40. So I recess this meeting until 8:40 p.m. Be back here at 8:40. I call this meeting back to order at 8:40 p.m. It is the opinion of the chair that all members are present. We will go back into the debate period on the proposed amendment to the legislation. Are there any individuals who wish to speak at this time? Senator Sauls.
Motion to substitute the amendment to read, 2 seats shall be reserved for association members who are classified as first time in college entering their first year of undergraduate education at Wichita State University, regardless of prior transfer or dual enrollment credits. Students serving in the seat shall be known as freshman senator.
Before I ask for a second, Advisor Fonseca, can you explain to the body what substitute amendments are?
Yes, because we are actively in the middle of an amendment in the debate period of it, you can no longer pull those. It either has to die, which sounds terrible, or a substitute amendment can be introduced only once. And if that amendment passes, then that becomes a new amendment and cancels out the old one.
Okay, but is there a second for this motion? Seconded by Senator Fouquet. So we will now move into the debate period on this substitute amendment. Are there any individuals who wish to speak on this substitute amendment? Senator Brown.
Guys, we fixed it. It took 10 minutes, but we fixed it. There was a little bit of miscommunication between government oversight and the chairperson Tawana, and we figured it out, and this should be right this time. And if you have any questions or concerns, please bring them up now.
Are there any other individuals who wish to speak at this time? Senator Mallard.
Is it changed in here? Because it looks like it's the exact same.
Advisor Fonseca.
Let's give it a second to save it, but it's saved under, it's right underneath it. So yeah, it's on there.
To clarify, Senator Mallard, is it showing up for you now? Okay, while we're waiting on that, are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Archimeno?
This is for Dr. Francisca. Can you tell us how it would explain, how it would work for you now? Would it work in the way that it was intended to?
Advisor Fonseca?
Yeah, it's a great question. So yes, with the inclusion of the language first time in college, this addresses what I think government oversight was trying to address and what the original motion was trying to address as well, because this will pull out a list of students who are at the university for the first time, regardless of them coming in with anything else, and would be classified as first year students. So yes, this would meet what it is I think they're trying to achieve.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in debate at this time? Senator Beam?
Motion to approve this by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing objection from Senator Parker, we will go back into the debate period on this item. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate on the substitute amendment? Senator Parker.
Yes, when you were reading out this new substitution amendment, didn't you mention dual enrollment specifically? And I don't see that in the wording up there.
Senator Sauls, can you re-clarify the language so we can double check one more time?
2 seats shall be reserved for association members who are classified as first time in college entering their first year of undergraduate education at Wichita State University, regardless of prior transfer or dual enrollment credits. Students serving in the seats shall be known as freshman senator. One more time.
I believe that the language up on the screen look accurate to you, Senator Sauls?
Yes. No. Prior transfer. Yes. Prior transfer or dual enrollment. Yes. There we go.
Okay. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will now go into the voting period on this item. You may conduct a roll call vote.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna?
Yes.
Senator Parker,
Yes.
Senator Fouquet,
Yes.
Senator Fan,
Yes.
Senator Beam,
Yes.
Senator Tijuana,
Yes.
Senator Souls,
Yes.
Senator Lay,
Yes.
Senator Martinez,
Yes.
Senator Peng,
Yes.
Senator Argumedo,
Yes.
Senator Hinojosa,
Yes.
Senator Thibodeau,
Yes.
Senator Mallard,
Yes.
Senator Owens,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Casaresofar,
Yes.
Senator Miller,
Yes.
Senator Hansen,
Yes.
Senator Timms,
Yes.
Senator Beatty,
No.
Senator Arteaga,
Yes.
Senator Boyd,
Yes.
Senator Haynes,
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani,
Yes.
Senator Lewis.
Yes.
I have 25 yeses, 1 no.
Okay, so with that, the motion passes. We will now go into debate for this legislation with all the amendments in effect. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate on the legislation at this time? Senator Mallard.
Motion approved with unanimous consent.
Unfortunately for this legislation, as it's a constitutional amendment, it requires a 2/3 majority vote. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Fouquet,
Am I allowed to ask a general question right now?
can you specify what your general question would be about?
Well, so I guess the 2/3 majority rule. So I thought if there was 25 yeses and 1 no, does that not constitute 2/3?
Yeah, so to clarify, those are two separate motions. So the vote that we just had was to adopt the amendments that Senator Sauls proposed. So when we voted on that, that added the amendments to the legislation, but did not approve the legislation itself. So now we're voting on the entire legislation with the amendments enacted upon it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Sorry, still new to this, but I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll now go into the voting period on this item. And for the voting period, as a reminder, in order for this constitutional amendment to be approved, it requires a 2/3 majority vote of our Senate. You may conduct a roll call vote.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna,
Yes.
Senator Parker,
Yes.
Senator Fouquet,
Yes.
Senator Fan,
Yes.
Senator Beam,
Yes.
Senator Tijuana,
Yes.
Senator Souls,
Yes.
Senator Lay,
Yes.
Senator Martinez,
Yes.
Senator Peng,
Yes.
Senator Argumedo,
Yes.
Senator Hinojosa,
Yes.
Senator Thibodeau,
Yes.
Senator Mallard,
Yes.
Senator Owens,
Yes.
Senator Brown,
Yes.
Senator Casaresofar,
Yes.
Senator Miller,
Yes.
Senator Hansen,
Yes.
Senator Timms,
Yes.
Senator Beatty,
Yes.
Senator Arteaga,
Yes.
Senator Boyd,
Yes.
Senator Haynes,
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani,
Yes.
Senator Lewis.
Yes.
I have all 26 yeses.
Okay, so with 26 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstention, this legislation passes. With that, we will now move into section 10, new business, and we will now go into 10.1. The clerk may read.
Akon requests to approve SB-68-121, an act to authorize funding for Phase 1 of the CAC theater renovation.
Is the author here and ready to speak? You have the floor.
Good evening, Senators. I hope you are all doing well. Tonight, I am presenting you all a bill on the Campus Activities Center Theater, also known as the CAC Theater, for the first phase of the renovation project. In spring 2025, there was an announcement made in the Senate that the CAC Theater would be closing in May 2025 due to ongoing accessibility issues. Over the summer, leadership began working on a proposal for a renovation project that would begin to address these issues. The RSC is the only pure student building on campus, and it was established by students and will forever be managed and funded by students. As SGA, we have a responsibility and an obligation to ensure that RSC property is available to all students now and in the future, just as our predecessors did. The theater is a part of the Radigan Student Center and the only student life theater on campus. This renovation is moving forward with phase 1, which includes restructuring the seating area in the center top of the theater to create wheelchair and mobility aid accessible seating, a renovation of the restrooms to make them both accessible, replacing the main entry doors, and installing a wheelchair lift in the front of the building. Earlier this month, the RSC Board of Directors voted to approve funding from the RSD to begin this project. This funding bill is a proposal to match those funds for the theater to be able to reopen for students once again. We recognize that there is more that we could do to the building. However, financial resources are currently not available to complete it all at once. The full scope of the project will take $8 to $12 million, which includes an elevator, a major ramp on the west side of the theater, expansion of the lobby, and access to the basement of the theater for the dressing rooms and internal access to the stage. That will mean additional square footage having to be built into the building, creating that large cost. We want students to be able to utilize the space again, as many crucial annual events have happened in that space. This space is utilized by several student organizations, agencies, other Wichita State University vendors, community partners, and departments for hundreds of events each year. This first phase will allow us to create accessible spaces more than there currently are and allow us to open the building again to meet the needs of the students. With that in mind, we are hoping that the theater will be open by spring if all timelines work out. Thank you all so much, and I will stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
Hi, I'd love to get a little bit more information on the Board of Directors, kind of thoughts and feelings as they began to look into this project, and more specifically, their efforts to maintain accessibility in the space by communicating and discussing this with disabled individuals and communities in order to find the best solution that is informed by disabled students who, of course, need to utilize this space and course is primarily the reason for this renovation. So do you have any bit of information or kind of what that procedure and process looked like for them as they began to make these decisions to make sure it was inclusive and that they had the say-so and wherewithal to contact and have discussions with the disabled community?
Yeah, I'll take that one since it started prior to John Wynn's presidency. So the conversation started in the spring semester. We worked with our architects that specialize in this kind of, specifically in this kind of work, and that were also part of the original, one of the renovations of the building, one of the renovations of the building. And they had some consultants that they worked with through the architecture company itself. And they're the ones that helped us really kind of look at, they came to campus, analyzed what we were looking at. We partnered with the CTAC and ADA director at that point when we had that person filled in the spring semester, and really kind of looked at what would be the necessary things that we would need to do in order to get the building reopened if we were to do it at the scale. So we did the entire project itself, where you heard the bigger cost of the $8 million to do the entire project, recognizing we don't have $1 million laying around, and that we didn't want to bond the project. We decided to look at, okay, what would be our first step if we were to do this? And so the architects worked with our campus partners here on campus. We also worked with the folks that they have in their company that specialize in this kind of work, and really kind of helped us design this first process. We knew that going into this that if you've ever been to the CEC Theater, there's no way into the lobby area if you are on a wheelchair. There is way into the CAC theater with the lower level seating area through the outdoors. But if it was raining or things like that, there was no internal way to do that. And so this first process of it allows us to build additional seating up front or in the back, in the middle part of the back, as well as able to get students or individuals who are on a wheelchair on the second floor, or into the second floor, I guess, what would be in the lobby area and then the restrooms itself. So while we didn't specifically, the board members and or staff didn't specifically work with the disabled community, our architectures did in their project development when they first designed the entire project, as well as specifically when we said, if we have this much money, what are some of the things, and worked with those partners to do that as well. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Owens.
Yeah, do you kind of have a more formal proposal plan that outlines all 4 phases of the project that we can look at when we're making our decision to kind of fund the first phase?
I did not have those, but I will send them out. I will, if you can close your eyes and pretend with me, I'll kind of articulate how it works. So I'm not actually saying don't do, if you want to close your eyes, do that if you want. But so if you were standing in front of the CAC theater, which hopefully you all know is behind the building right next to the HR building, the full completion of the project would expand the entryway of the CAC theater almost all the way to the tree line where the loading docks are, not that close, but close to that area, which would include a brand new lobby, a lower lobby, and an upper lobby as well that would allow us to bring in more patrons in quickly, but also be able to have an internal entrance into the building as well, not just the external one with the elevator lift. On the west side of the building, so towards the street, would be the ramp that would bring them in into the building, that would allow us to go down into the basement area with an elevator. That would be built out, a complete renovation of the basement of the CAC theater where we have the dressing rooms and the green rooms and all those other things, because there's not that access up on the second floor, and those don't exist on the second floor. There would also be an internal way into the stage instead of having to rely on just external exits that would allow them to go into the stage itself, or either through the back or through the sides, or just in the back part, I apologize. There would now be 2 internal ways to get into the stage inside. And so again, students who are on a wheelchair or needed that additional accessibility needs wouldn't have to walk outside to do that. And then we would completely redo the back parts of the staging area to be able to have the back part of the stage much more accessible as well. The biggest expense to it would be adding the square footage to the building, both on the west side of the building and the front part of the building, as well as creating putting in an elevator. I had no idea how expensive that is, but building an elevator is the expensive part of it as well, and then allowing us to completely redo the basement part of the theater as well. So while there's not a visual, my hope is you were able to visualize how I kind of articulated that.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Tibbs.
Yeah, is construction or renovation already underway? And if not, when is it expected to begin?
No, not yet. I expect it to begin once they have secured this funding. They wanted to make sure that they had the funding needed, necessary to start beginning the project. With the RC Board of Directors, they approved $150,000, and then with us, this would be another $150,000, totaling a total of $300,000. They did not want to kind of start halfway through the project because they know that this funding is never guaranteed, and they would never want to assume so. And so they didn't want to start a project midway and then not have the funds to be able to complete it through. And so they're kind of waiting on this timeline before they begin moving on to the next steps.
If I can add to that, the complete renderings are also done, which would have been the thing that would have also delayed us. So because that is done, the last thing is just securing the funding, and then the project is ready to go out to bid and then ready to begin at that point.
Are there any further questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
Yeah, just a final clarification. So for phase 1, could you go through exactly what is being changed? I know it's the front doors there, the lift, and then the bathrooms. Is that correct in assuming that's just the pieces for phase 1?
There's also restructuring the seating area in the center top of the theater to make it accessible for wheelchair and mobility seating. But otherwise, I think those are the main pieces, unless I'm missing something.
Are there any further questions for President Wong? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Before we move into the debate period, Advisor Fonseca, can you go over the Special Projects Fund, what that is for our newer folks, and then also go into detail what that approval process looks like as well?
Yeah, great question. So 2 years ago now, the student government established a special projects fund with dollars that were utilized to be paid that we collected from students in the renovation of the Radigan Student Center back in 2014. When that bond ended 3 years ago, the student government decided at that point that they would retain those dollars in order to fund projects throughout the year that we knew were going to come up from student fee entities. In the first year, that fund held about $2 million. With some of the budget adjustments last year, it reduced down a little bit. And so the fund itself is designed for the president of the student body to be able to make recommendations to the Senate on projects in which benefit the overall student experience. There is a specific clause in some of the language that requires that it has to impact student life, so it can't just be spent to fund academic buildings or fund academic things. It has to be directly towards improving and advancing student experience and student life on campus. And so this would be in compliance of those funds. The dollars themselves last for 3 years. So we still have, I know I said 2, but we still have 3 more years, or 1 more year after this year, before the Senate at that time has to determine if it wants to retain those dollars in order to continue to pay for projects and things that eventually would have to be paid for or covered by student fees, either through an increase in fees or through other means at that point. So that is what the special projects is designed for.
Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca on what the Special Projects Fund is before we go into things? I'll go to Sarah Lee first.
So, how much money do we have in the Special Projects Fund?
If you give me 1 second, I will pull it up. We have $1,149,236.05.
Are there any more questions for Dr. Fonseca before we head into the debate period? Senator Miller.
Thank you for that explanation. Regarding it, it's only allowed to be used on things that improve students' experiences. Could you demonstrate examples of what that is including but not limited to, just so that we understand more so what that language means?
Yeah, great question. It would mean anything that already receives student fees. If any of those areas come to like student health, counseling, and those things, if there are projects that we want to fund in those areas, that would comply with that language. It would also comply with anything relating to student organizations, funding for student individual programs or projects. Last couple of weeks ago, passing the legal services program was the appropriate way for you to use that. So anything that would already fall under the scope of what student government funds and provides resources to would meet the student experiences clause definition that we have in there. It could not, if thinking about some examples, it could not mean that we provide dollars to an academic space because student fee dollars can't be utilized for academic spaces. And that's already by how it's defined in Kansas law, that we can't utilize dollars in that capacity. But these dollars would be anything relating to the social experiences or the student overall experience, student engagement experiences for students on campus would comply with that clause. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Are there any further questions for Advisor Fonseca? Okay, seeing none, we will now move into the debate period for this item. As this is a funding bill, this will be its first and final read. So we will now go into the debate period. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Owens.
Hi, team. As most of you know, I'm the president and accessibility coordinator of DREAM, which works to provide an accessible space for our students with disabilities and advocate for their needs. And the CSC Theater in my time here has been, a hot topic of discussion in my years in SGA and also in this organization that I represent. And I really, really do appreciate the RSC Board of Directors and their efforts to improve the CSC Theater, make it accessible, and comply to ADA accessibility standards there. But I do have significant concerns about not only their efforts in this project, but previous efforts and conversations surrounding accessibility in mostly the CAC theater, and feeling like there's truly a lack of student, input and understanding when it comes to spaces like the CAC theater. I don't believe in half measures, and I believe if the RC Board of Directors, Kevin Conda, and a lot of those wonderful people there would like to ask for funding from SGA, then they should be here to explain the process. We should be able to see all of the phases of their project. We should be able to formally ask them what kind of conversations the architects had about accessibility, because I believe and I truly understand how important it is to have professionals who understand ADA compliancy, who understand what disabled individuals need in certain spaces, but they do not understand the student perspective. They do not understand what our Wichita State University students who are performing in these spaces experience and deal with. I think in a lot of cases we have students who are wanting to perform and use a mobility device, and not only can't get in the building but are forced to go to the back of the building and navigate that space in such an inaccessible and dehumanizing way that of course they decided to kind of shut down the building because it's not ADA compliant. And I appreciate the efforts in phase 1 to begin to secure those projects and understand kind of where we need to be. But without those phases in here, I have not done my due diligence as a senator, as a person, a part of the disabled community, and as a president of DREAM, if I do not see that, understand it, and know what I'm allocating with this much money. I just cannot, in good confidence and faith, vote for this legislation at all. And I also discussed this with previous emeritus status undergraduate advocate Annie Wassinger, who, started her founding by establishing a nonprofit that creates spaces for disabled students and individuals to perform in theater spaces. That's entirely her forefront, and she's a very formative person this last session with all of her work, and she created the Accessibility and Disability Pride Task Force here. And I have a quote from her after discussing with her a little bit more about this proposed bill tonight, and here it states, "The CAC Theater hosts Songfest and other events that feature student performers, but if a theater is to be accessible under the ADA, then it must be accessible to both performers as well as audience members. I understand a lift out front and bathroom renovations accommodate audience members with mobility issues, but we have to ensure that backstage as well as the way the performers enter is accessible, or we are spending this large sum on a renovation, and a disabled student who wants to perform will inevitably file a complaint with the U.S. Access Board." If you're not familiar with the U.S. Access Board, it's a federal program, which right now is shut down because we are in a government shutdown, but it provides a space for disabled students or individuals to come forward with complaints about inaccessibility in certain government or private or student-led institutions. And I can't help but reaffirm this issue. I believe 3 things. 1, the RC Board of Directors needs to come here and present this to the Senate. 2, I need to see, and I hope you all encourage us, to see all phases of this project to ensure that not only are we making sure it's ADA compliant, but also that we're doing measures that don't just make it ADA compliant, but truly understand the student perspective and belief when it comes to accessibility. Because this is a great thing for us to prevail as if we are doing for the disabled community, but without truly understanding the experience, we are woefully underprepared for really, truly adequately providing solutions for these issues. So I'm going to provide a motion to push this piece of legislation to next week's Senate meeting on the 29th. So that we can get the RSC Board of Directors members to come and discuss some of their plans, the phases, and other things, so we can really get as much information as possible, and potentially get some of my DREAM members as well to discuss their conversations and what it means, because DREAM does perform at Songfest every year. We directly know what it's like to be in that space and to have an inaccessible space and forced to go around the back of the building to perform. So I'm going to make that motion.
Is there a second for that motion? Senator Lee. We will now enter the Advisor Fonseca.
You're going to have to clarify who the RSC Board of Directors, because you have 5 of them in this room right now. Jawin serves on it, Amy serves on it, I serve on the board, Matthew serves on the board, Lily. Yeah, right. So I think some of the members of the board who are the student government representatives to the board are in the room right now. So I think you're gonna have to specify that just a little bit different, because I would make the argument to say we are here. And so I think I would also ask specifically more about what you want information on before, because I think also just to be clear so that we can then make sure we're prepared to do that as well. But keeping in mind that the board members are present in the room right now who presented the legislation too.
Yes, I am aware. I have been on the board as well. I am interested in not just the student perspective when it comes to SGA, because that is present. And of course, we had a fabulous presentation from President Wong, but I'm interested in the players, Kevin Konda and other members that primarily had those conversations behind the scene, because I know from firsthand experience that those conversations happen, and then we go to the RC Board of Directors and we begin to have those conversations. I want to know what happened with a group of individuals who, you know, before you convene and discuss that $1,500 allocation to be matched by the other whatever dollar, to see what that conversation was before. So you would be more knowledgeable in exactly the pieces there, but I know Kevin Konda, any other members that were foundational in those pieces and deciding what phases, whether that's Terry Hall or other individuals as well.
And I want you to clarify what members from the RC Board of Directors would you like present?
Yes, as I just said, I, of course, don't have the specific names, but Gabe, if you would love to give a little bit of support from me on this one to kind of see who exactly would be those members on the board, because I'm obviously not on the board anymore, so I'm not sure. But the individuals in charge, so of course the director, Kevin Konda, and then we have our financial individual who's also on the board, whether or not she's involved, Terry Hall, who's involved in certain aspects, but the key players who are involved in those preliminary discussions, and then bring it to the board of directors.
Yeah, so I think that would be Kevin, myself, and Dr. Hall were the three that had the conversations with our architects. And I should get Kevin Konda, who's the Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Terry Hall, who's the Vice President of Student Affairs, and then my role and my capacity of my Executive Director job.
And then to clarify for this motion, is it debatable?
If you're going to defer it, so yeah, you'd be tabling the bill, so a tabled bill can be debated, yeah.
So we will not enter the debate period on this item. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in debate at this time? Okay, I'm going to speak in debate, so I'm going to speak in negation of this motion. I think we have the necessary information to make a decision based off the legislation that we have. About half the RSC Board of Directors are students, including myself and several others in this room as well. I think by pushing it back, we as representatives from Student Government Association on the board have seen the presentations that they presented to us. They showed us, broke down the different floor plans. I think it's our responsibility as members on that board as the Student Government Association to be able to evaluate that information to give to you as well. And I think President Wong fulfilled that item in her role as a member on the RC Board of Directors as well in presenting that legislation. But are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Maurer.
I'll also be speaking in negation. I agree with what was just stated, that there are several members of student government who are part of that, who are part of those talks, and it was also stated that a professional section of ADA compliance drafters were present to make sure that this worked well. And while maybe they didn't fully speak to the students of WSU, I would be under the assumption that as they are professionals, they have been in the field for years and years and understand exactly what is needed. And as Gabe had stated, that they had presented what exactly type of, or what type of services we have provided to students and what we might need, aka, wheelchairs or more accessible doors, whatever. And then we evaluated what we're able to fund at the time, as we know that this is, as we said, an $8 million project. We're not going to be able to fund it a lot, and going in stages is important. And also, if we push this back, what's going to stop us from potentially pushing it back again? Now, again, we can't talk in what ifs, but if we're going to push this back, we're also then pushing back these services that we're trying to offer students. Again, that a lot of SGA members who are on the board have agreed with what is being presented. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'm going to close the debate period and we'll go into the voting period on this item. You may conduct a roll call vote when you are ready.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna?
No.
Senator Parker?
No.
Senator Fouquet?
No.
Senator Fan?
No.
Senator Beam?
Yes.
Senator Tiwana?
No.
Senator Souls?
No.
Senator Lay?
Abstain.
Senator Seals? Sorry, Senator Martinez?
Abstain.
Senator Peng?
Abstain.
Senator Argumedo?
Abstain.
Senator Hinojosa?
Abstain.
Senator Thibodeau?
No.
Senator Mallard?
No.
Senator Owens?
Yes.
Senator Brown?
Abstain.
Senator Cacerosa-Far?
Abstain.
Senator Miller?
Abstain.
Senator Hansen?
No.
Senator Timms?
Abstain.
Senator Beatty?
Abstain.
Senator Arteaga?
Abstain.
Senator Boyd?
Abstain.
Senator Haynes?
No.
Senator Mungaravani?
No.
Senator Lewis?
No.
I have 2 yeses, 12 noes, and 12 abstains.
With that, the motion fails, so we'll go back into the debate period on this item. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in the debate at this time? Senator Lee.
What are the minimum accessibility requirements for both performers and for those in the audience? And what is the cost to implement them?
Certainly, we are in the debate period for this item, but if you want to rephrase that for something you wish to speak in debate, you may do so if you like. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Argumento?
Argumento, right? Me? Okay. So there's just still a lot up in the air. I know phase one, I respect all the RC board of directors, especially the people that are here. I believe you guys did your jobs great and everything. I just feel like maybe phase one, we can move some things differently around to like best accommodate both the audience and like maybe the student actors or anybody performing. Maybe if we knew more about the phases that are coming up next, like in phase two, like that's when we'll be targeting the performers on stage, then maybe we'll be more lenient. So just kind of, that's why I kind of abstained. It's too much in the air.
Yeah. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in debate? Senator Miller?
I'll make this brief. I understand many of the points that Senator Owens made. I empathize with them. I think the great thing is that because this is a multi-step process, going forward, we can always strive to be more transparent on what's going on when we make decisions in that room. So that's why I did not vote to push the bill back. I think we can get started on the work now and begin doing that, being more transparent and doing that research as we begin moving into next steps of the process.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Senator Mallard?
Yeah, I want to also state that I do agree with what was stated about us needing to make sure we have some better talks with our students and making sure that there are debates with the people that it is actually affecting. But this is also something that we have talked about for a very long time. And as was stated, that the current president wasn't here when these talks happened. So there could be a chance that we have reached out in the past that we're not aware of. But if we're looking at how it is now, this is something that will help with students. It will help. I don't know if you've used the bathrooms. The men's bathroom, you have to go into like basically a back closet, and it's just it's hard to do some of the current tasks in there. And as it was stated, this first stage, it will get some of the basic stuff done. And in the future, we will be able to change stuff, but we need to think about what we're doing right now, and I think that this is essential, and I will be voting in affirmation.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak at this time? Senator Owens, and then after Senator Owens, I'm closing the debate period.
I really appreciate everyone's perspectives, and I completely understand where all of you are coming from when we are having this discussion. I will be the first to say I really want the CAC Theater to be renovated, and I have been in the Senate for 5 years. I have been, apprised of conversations about the CAC Theater for all of my years in this body. And I can say in those conversations, there's always consistently been concerned of feeling not heard or not listened to when it comes to advocating for students with disabilities on this campus. And, our board of directors and our, leaders and SGA have done everything in their power to make sure that, some have done everything in their power to make sure that they're being listened to and advocated for, and I really, really appreciate that. But I want to remind everyone that even when we sit in this room or sit in most rooms, often we lack a very significant presence of students with mobility issues or students with, certain disabilities that supersede their ability to, use stairs or other things that other able-bodied students are able to use. That's typically because we have such, rooms obviously filled with so many people, but lack a lot of experience in certain areas and dimensions of intersectionality. And in a lot of spaces, I think we forget about what we call in the disabled community Sarah. Sarah's a person that we should always be thinking about, but often don't, because Sarah may not be able to come into this room or, attend certain meetings or events or go to certain things because she's not thought of. And I just wanted to raise that in this conversation to really make sure we're thinking of Sarah. But, in this conversation, I hesitate to approve phase 1 of a plan that begins to make efforts to make something ADA accessible, but doesn't do so for performers with disabilities. And I really hesitate to begin that process. Bathrooms are great, lifts are great, but still performers would not be able to navigate the back stages of the CC Theater or would have to go all the way around in order to perform or do a lot of those things. There's been significant issues with our members having to navigate really difficult challenges because the CSC Theater is, one, impossible to get into either from the front area, which is great that we're renovating, but having to go all the way around the back, which I will remind everyone is dehumanizing. But that's why I will vote no on this piece of legislation. I believe also, as much as we can claim to really appreciate the efforts by each board of directors who are coming here and really giving their thoughts on the matter, I believe that we need to make sure in the future to do our due diligence. I want to see all of the plans up on that big screen that we have that show us all 4 phases. And I believe if we're rushing through a process, we're allocating so much money for something that I don't believe is really getting to the crux of the issue. And I really, really hesitate to begin to want to do that in the CC Theater because we are not making it ADA compliant. As much as a lot of those efforts, I have read all of the pages within our ADA compliancy within certain buildings in preparation not only for this bill, but for what I do in my job. We have to make sure that our performers are also having an accessible route, that it's not dehumanizing, that it's not a significant obstacle or is pervasive for them to be able to do the things that any other able-bodied student or performer can do. This would not make it ADA compliant. And I really struggle with that because I, again, appreciate the perspective of architects who are trained to do certain jobs, and I do appreciate that, but I don't know what those individuals are or aren't doing. I don't know if they have experience being a part of the disabled community or not, and these are all questions I would love to be able to ask, because I am almost certain that all of these projects and all of what is being discussed has been talked about, has been thoroughly considered, that they have talked to disabled individuals, that the architects are doing their job, but I don't know because I can't ask. Because they didn't come here when they were requesting $150,000 to be open to questions about certain things. And thank you, Gabe. I appreciate the visualization of the 4 steps. That's not how my brain works. I need physical copies. And I don't want to wait after passing this bill to have those physical copies. So I will be voting no, but I completely understand and respect all of your votes for yes, no, abstain for this, because either way, yes, we are moving to one area where we are doing a little bit better for our students. But I believe it is a half measure, one that I believe is unacceptable at this current juncture. So,
I will say one thing before we go into the debate period. So I want to express my affirmation for this legislation. These were conversations that we were having last session in the Howard Fund administration last year. And I think when the decision was made to bring this legislation to the floor, I think we did our due diligence in asking within those meetings what those plans could be, and we've been having those conversations on our feedback about accessibility, and I by no means believe phase 1 should be the only phase of this project. I fully agree that we should implement all the phases to make it as accessible as possible, but I also believe we have to start somewhere with this project. The CAC has been closed over the summer, and student groups, nonprofits, I talked to a couple groups, and they said they wanted to use the CAC theater, but they could not. So I think this is a great start to a project that will have to be ongoing, and we have to have more of those communication steps. But I feel confident in the legislation that we have now and the work that we've been doing since the spring for this legislation. But with that, I'm going to close the debate period. We'll go into the voting period. The clerk may conduct a roll call vote.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Senator Luna?
Yes.
Senator Parker?
Yes.
Senator Fouquet?
Yes.
Senator Fan?
Yes.
Senator Beam?
No.
Senator Tijuana?
Yes.
Senator Souls?
Yes.
Senator Lay?
Yes.
Senator Martinez?
Abstain.
Senator Peng?
Yes.
Senator Argumedo?
Yes.
Senator Hinojosa?
Yes.
Senator Thibodeau?
Yes.
Senator Mallard?
Yes.
Senator Owens?
no.
Senator Brown?
Yes.
Senator Carcieri so far?
Yes.
Senator Miller?
Yes.
Senator Hansen?
Yes.
Senator Timms?
Yes.
Senator Beatty?
Abstain.
Senator Arteaga?
Yes.
Senator Boyd?
Yes.
Senator Haynes?
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani?
No.
Senator Lewis?
Yes.
I have 21 yeses, 3 nos, and 2 abstains.
With that, the motion passes. And before we adjourn, I want to say how proud I am of you all for going into debate for these conversations and having that deliberative dialogue piece as well. One last thing I'd like to note is for the constitutional amendment that we passed, if President Wong signs off on it, it will have to go before the student body for the student body to vote on it and approve on it before it takes official effect. But with that, we will now move into Section 11 adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stay adjournment until Wednesday, October 29th at 7:30 p.m. I hereby adjourn this meeting at 9:28 p.m.